Okay, so where are we? We've looked at this vector on his head and neck. We've looked at this vector on his shoulders. We've looked at this vector on his upper arm, and we've looked at this vector on his lower arm. There's one more to add into this, and that is threes. We have 1, 2, 3. If we take just the appendage, we have 1 force vector, 2 force vectors, 3. Many of you have seen this before, this position, but this isn't the whole truth. We don't look at this as slam him into the ground using his wrist, causing dysfunction. Look at the power of the force vectors that are being applied. If you have a hold from this position, you see side, side, hypotenuse. You have a triangle that forms on just the appendage, like the triangle that forms with him to the ground in gravity. If we follow the force vector using this vector, this is going to facilitate him to the ground without any pain. You know what pain compliance does. It makes him spastic. He jumps around, he flails. We're trying here. He pulls in, trying to counteract the pain that's being applied to his body. It's a natural reflex. Pain is information for him. We don't want to give him any pain until it's too late for him. If we follow the force vector, this is already too late for him to go any further. He's on the ground wondering why he's looking up. Side, side, hypotenuse. We carry up the force vector. That makes him want to ride very high. What did we do earlier? Shoulder facilitation. Look at loading and unloading the joints. We'll do this again. Side, side, hypotenuse. Up. Joints loaded, triangle. And down. Manipulate his force vectors to cause function. Different position. Side, side, hypotenuse. Triangle point, right? Triangle point. Straight vector. Side, side, hypotenuse. We've been looking at the different joint complexes in terms of hyperfunction rather than dysfunction. It would be important for you to go back and reference some of the material we've already produced that will get you to accentuate your range of motion in these particular joint complexes we've discussed. For instance, moving the neck and head, moving the shoulders so that you have a complement of greater range of motion, moving the elbows so that you have an expanded range of motion. You're aware, moving the wrists. This is different than just gross range of motion. Taking it to its full articulation so that you start to gain that suppleness that's going to be important to your game. But what I want you to do is, I want you to look at how all three force vectors acting together in concert are going to increase the capacity for you to transfer force to your opponent and your capacity to avoid him causing dysfunction to you. That's his primary goal. He wants to hurt you. He wants to cause your body to not function. Fine. We'll take that to our advantage. Now, if you take these two infinity signs, these figure eights, even if they're combined, some of you may have already referenced this to, can I borrow you, Ben? To a pummeling sphere where you're coming in with your partner. Back and forth. You're working things. You're working to snake in instead of force his body to move. We're going to be referencing this throughout the entire series, but I want you to pay attention to the articulation in the joints as force vectors for hyperfunction.